Good morning, welcome back to the channel. It's Richard from Power Lines to Power Naps. Wednesday the 1st of November. Hope you all had a good Halloween. But it's the 1st of November already, which really means it's the official first day of winter here in Thailand. Winter not being quite the same here as many of you might think of winter, but for us it's the best weather season. It's always going to be around 30 degrees, hopefully mostly sunny, very little rain for the next several months. Humidity levels will be low and it's a lot fresher. Earlier in the morning now and late afternoon it's a lot fresher air and quite pleasant for us that have endured the high temperatures of the summer. So November the 1st. I'm down here in Qatar Park. I'll just turn the camera and show you. Been down here many times. Beautiful little park. Always pretty quiet. People on the exercise machines keeping fit. The gardens and the flowers looking beautiful. And it's a nice place to sit and tell a story. So one of my subscribers, I think it was Brian from the UK, wrote to me and asked me to do a vlog and tell a story about the antics of a bar girl here in Thailand. So here it comes, Brian. This story is called Roger, Roxy and the Rocket Bar. Let's get straight into it. Hi, I'm Richard. Welcome to my channel, from Power Lines to Power Naps. This is my wife, Nui, and together we both left the UK in February 2022 to start and enjoy a new life and new adventures in Phuket, Thailand. Join us on our new journey together and experiences. Sit back and enjoy. Roger, Roxy and the Rocket Bar. Now, for obvious reasons, I've changed the names of the people involved in this story and changed the names of the bar. The only name I haven't changed is mine, because I know this story is 100% true. Why? Because in a little way I actually took part in it, so I know it is 100% true. So let's get into it. I first met Roger last year. He was one of our customers, and he used to regularly come for breakfasts and coffees, and although I didn't get to know him that well, we had morning chats and passed the time of day. Roger seemed a pretty nice, cool guy. Obviously well educated, in the country of his origin. He'd been a teacher, and still I think a teacher part-time. But he'd spent the last 10 years travelling backwards and forwards to Thailand. And the reason is that 9 years ago, he met and fell in love with Roxy. 9 years ago. She was a local girl who worked in a local bar. They set up a relationship. He used to visit for 3 months on, 3 months back at home. 3 months here, 3 months back at home. For 9 years. Long time, good commitment. And it was, in his eyes, a true relationship. And in the 3 months that he was at home, he would still send money to Roxy every month, as he told me, 20,000 baht, about 500 sterling, and he would send that to her every month that he wasn't here for her upkeep, living costs. I'm sure she sent some home to support her family and parents back in her home village. But they lived together in town in a house that they had rented, he rented, and he paid all the rent and all the living costs and all the bills, the electricity, the water, everything. Hello. Some little boy running around the track. And he was in love. And he'd been in love a long time. 9 years, quite a long relationship. He told me that he trusted her. She'd worked in the bar for quite a long time. And she had reassured him that she just served drinks and spoke to the customers. She wasn't one of these bar girls that went with customers and entertained them in bedroom aerobics classes, shall we say. Enough said. So, long-term relationship. Lovers, you might say. But was Roxy everything that she was cracked up to be, or what she'd told him? So later on in his visit to last year, he was having his breakfast and his coffee, a bit quieter than normal for old Roger, a little bit quieter than normal. So I left him to it, and then we got talking later on his third coffee, and he poured out his heart to me, and he was obviously extremely upset. And he said to me, "Richard," it's the only name I've not changed, "I cannot do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore." I said, "What's the problem, mate? Why?" He said, "I can't cope with it. I've been with Roxy for 9 years now. She works in the bar, as many do. She'd convinced him she only served drinks and spoke to customers. But bar work is antisocial hours. So it's 7 nights a week, maybe from 5 p.m. right the way through till 3, 4 a.m. 7 nights a week. Invariably, the girls drink as well. Customers buy them drinks, and maybe not a healthy lifestyle, but a lot of them get drunk every night of the week. And even when the bars close, sometimes they say they stay behind and drink with friends, or it's one of them's birthday. But Roger then went to pour his heart out and said he couldn't cope with this anymore. He'd been together for 9 years, and the big problem is that when she arrived home at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, she was very often drunk, very drunk. And when she was drunk, he said, she became a very angry lady. She would always be aggressive, fuel, have big arguments. And he said more recently it was also getting a little bit physical. She was getting violent towards him. And he'd just had enough. He couldn't cope with this antisocial job, antisocial behaviour, constant drinking, arguing, and he felt like he was being physically abused as well as mentally abused. So he'd taken the decision, and this was a Friday, by the way, we had this conversation. He'd taken the decision that he was done with it. He said, "I cannot take it any longer. I am done with it. I have lived there in that house with her for 9 years. I've paid all the rent, all the bills, and it's going nowhere. It's just getting worse." And he was falling foul of her drunken arguments and aggressive nature. He said, "Today I'm due to go home, and I'm not coming back." At the time I remember thinking, you probably will be back, but I actually haven't seen him this year, so maybe he stood his ground. So he says, today I'm done, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to sit in here. He got his bag with him. He says, I'm not going back, I'm just done with it. My flight is tonight. I'm going to be leaving Phuket around tea time in a taxi. And when that taxi comes, I'm going to come out of here, get in the taxi and go. So we had a little conversation and I tried to cheer him up, but he was obviously on a downer. I could fully understand why. And I asked him where Roxy worked. Obviously he'd told me her name. And he said she worked locally in the Rocket Bar. Now that, to me, the name didn't really ring any bells. So I asked him where it was. And he described it to me exactly where it was. And when he described it, I thought, oh, actually, I do know where that bar is. And I do occasionally, on my Friday night little tours, I have a couple of beers here and a little beer there, and I have a little wander around and see a few friends and a few faces and a few other business owners and a bit of a Friday social. So from where he was describing it, I thought, I think I know which bar. So it was about a similar time. I normally go out early on a Friday, out early, home early, bed early, we're up early, so that suits me. It's a similar time Roger's taxi came to pick him up, and I wished him well and helped him load his bags into the taxi and said goodbye, chin up, chest out, hope everything goes okay, and off he went to the airport. It was about the time I'm due to go out. So I do my usual rounds, a little bit intrigued, and I thought I could play the game here. I could test the system or confirm the system. And there's many, many stories like this. So I had my usual little starting place at the bar and had a couple of beers and slowly worked my way around, catch a few faces I normally on a Friday. And I went round to where Roger had described the Rocket Bar to be. And of course, he was spot on, and I'd never noticed before. The sign wasn't that obvious. I'm not necessarily that interested in all the bar names, but yeah, there was a sign there, not in the best of places, and it said the Rocket Bar. Now 3 girls in the Rocket Bar working. Because I'd called in a few times before and had a social chit chat, I sort of had heard and sort of knew the names of 2 of them, and the 3rd girl I'd not seen before. So this is where I start my investigation. Quite quickly, as normal in these bars, the girls will come over, make conversation. Okay, they've got an ulterior motive of maybe trying to earn some money out of you for some aerobics class teaching, whatever. Or you buy them a drink and you play them a little bar game. Connect 4, Jenga, shaking the dice cups, harmless fun. If you lose, yep, you buy them a drink. So I caught the eye of this 3rd girl, who smiled and quickly came over, sat down, asked me how I was and did I want to play Connect 4, blah 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 blah, which I didn't. I thought now's my time to clarify Roger's position. So I smiled and I said, what's your name? The answer, my name's Roxy. Wow. I'm Richard, pleased to meet you, Roxy. How long have you worked here, Roxy? How long have you been in Phuket? Now this question, time and time again, comes with a lie. For whatever reason, but if they've been here for years or months or 1 year, they will nearly always say, I've only been here 1 week. I've even heard, it's my first day. Not sure on the theory of that, maybe they want their intended clients to believe that they're new, fresh, not been with any customers if they're looking for a long-term boyfriend. Maybe that might be reassurance for the customer, thinking, oh, they've only arrived today. I know that to be never correct. I asked Roxy, I said, how long have you been in Phuket? She then looked at her colleagues, almost like she wanted inspiration, asking them how long had she been here. You should know, shouldn't you? So she turned to me and she says, I've been in Phuket 2.5 weeks. Really? Lie number one. She's been in a relationship living with Roger for 9 years. I said, wow, okay. I said, so a lovely girl like you surely must have a boyfriend. She looked me in the eye and said, no boyfriend. My boyfriend, no. I said, really? I can hardly believe that. Such a beautiful girl like you not got a boyfriend? How long you not had a boyfriend for? Again, she looked me in the eyes and said, 5 years. What? And this is how a lot of them roll. So there she is telling me she's been in Phuket 1.5 or 2 weeks. Clearly a lie. Not got a boyfriend. Clearly a lie. Not had a boyfriend for 5 years. Clearly a lie. Poor old Roger, at this time the conversation that I was having, poor old Roger still sat at Phuket airport waiting to board his plane. Felt sorry for the guy. I haven't seen him since. I probably won't tell him if I do see him again, but I suspect he's not been back yet. I suspect he's probably not coming back. Well, just then to further interest and clarify about Roxy, I said, okay, it's a nice little bar, and I said, what happens here then? Is it just drinks and a bit of music, or do the girls go with customers? Do they earn money and entertain customers? Do they teach bedroom aerobics to customers? You get my drift, I'm sure. Without a blink of an eye, she said, yes, of course we do. She says you pay the bar fine of, I think she said 400 baht, which is like a fee to the bar, which releases the girl from work if she wants to go with the customer. And again, that could be the subject of another vlog in the future about how this system operates and works. I can tell you a lot more about that if you want to know. If you do, drop it in the comments box. So she openly said, yes, you pay the bar fine, which releases me from work. And then she says, you pay me for my time. And I said, explain, how do you mean? She said, well, you want me to entertain you? I think she said it would be 2,000 baht short time for 4 hours, or 3,000 baht all night. She looked me in the eye and she said, shall we go? I said, no, Madai, cannot. I have a wife, I cannot. And poor old Roger still sat at Phuket airport waiting to board his plane. What do you think about that? Leave your comments in the comments section. But basically, that was the story of Roger, Roxy, and the Rocket Bar. Hope you enjoyed it. It is true, because I followed poor old Roger's inquiries through. But I hope you enjoyed it. I've got many more like it. If you want more stories like that or similar, again, drop me a message in the comments box. Thank you, Brian, for asking me for this one. A little taster. Warming up now. It's more blue sky. The little clouds are parting. I'm going to go back to Nui, see my gorgeous wife, get a coffee, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you've not subscribed yet, please press the subscribe button. Like, share, tell all your friends, spread the word, help my channel grow, do all those fantastic things for me, and I'll do some more stories for you. Thanks again. Bye for now.